Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So listen, today I saw the clip of these ladies on The View, and one of the women, black woman, I don't know her name, I think her name is Sunny, I could be wrong, I'm not sure what her name is, was talking about how 96% of black women and 81% of black men are Democrats. And my first thought was, well, if that's true, then why does Joe Biden feel the need to throw $50 million at campaigns and ads in order to get the black vote? That was my very first question. If, according to these statistics that these ladies on The View are talking about, the black population is already Democrat, wouldn't you not need to put money there? Shouldn't Joe Biden be putting $50 million towards getting white people to vote for him? Or we already know he's working on getting the Hispanic vote. But it was very interesting to me because here's the thing. My husband's black. I'm white. So immediately people are going to assume that he is a black Democrat and I'm a white Republican, because for some reason people think that just like the sky is up and the ground is down, that if you're black, you're a Democrat, and if you're white, you're a Republican. For some reason, people find that synonymous: black Democrat, white Republican. And you can't be a white Democrat or a black Republican. It's very interesting to me. Although that's not true. Let me backstep that one. You can be a white Democrat, but for some reason, people don't think black people can be Republicans. But all you really have to do is open your eyes and look around. And I feel like there are a lot of people in the Republican Party who don't look like me and who do look like my husband. We were having a conversation yesterday and today about politics in general, because you know, you've got the election coming up in November, a good old, Trump-Biden face-off in 2024. And people are really focused on who they want to vote for. Do they want to vote for Trump or do they want to vote for Biden? And my whole thing is, or actually our whole thing is, between my husband and myself, is what policies do you want to vote for? Because at the end of the day, this, November 2024 is between Biden and Trump, but 2028, it's going to be either Trump and somebody new, or possibly Biden and somebody new. If either one of them, whoever loses, decides to run again, then it's going to be that direction, right? Or neither one of them are on the ballot in 2028, and you have a whole new slew of people coming in. So to me, I've never understood, this is me being just completely transparent, as generally am over here on Squirrel Tribe. You guys know I give you all my thoughts and opinions, and not everybody will agree, and that's okay. These are conversations that need to be had. There are too many people who are afraid to have conversations because they're worried about triggering somebody or rubbing somebody the wrong way or ruffling feathers or whatever else. And then that's kind of how we end up where we are, where the two sides are constantly butting heads instead of having conversations, because it's hard to have certain talks because everybody thinks they're right. Okay. Everybody thinks they're right. And maybe majority of people are right in whatever they're talking about, but it's always interesting. Oh, let's see how to phrase all of these things. Because y'all know, if you've been here on Squirrel Tribe before, I have a ton of crap going up in my head, and it's hard for me to figure out how to get it out of my mouth. So that's what she said. Anyway, so the whole thing is, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, to me, it's more about policies, because it feels like over the course of time, what Republicans stood for and what Democrats stood for have kind of switched a little. It's like melting pot kind of thing. And then of course you have independent, you have whatever else out there. You have all these different kinds of people, all these different names. You have the word conservative being thrown at people. You have liberal being thrown around. You have all these other things being thrown around, right? There's a lot of name calling, which is very interesting to me. How many people will call people names based off solely what party they are a part of? That's always been interesting to me, or very weird to me, because I feel like a lot of people are in the political party they are in, just like people are in the religion they're in, because they were brought up that way. And I hope that makes sense. If you were brought up in a Baptist church, then your kids are going to be Baptist. If you're brought up in Catholic church, your kids are going to be Catholic, because you're going to bring them up the way you were brought up. If you were brought up in a Democrat mind frame, Democrat party, you're going to bring your children up in that same mind frame, that same party. Same thing goes with Republican or independent or whatever else. And I feel like, unfortunately, that's where a lot of issues have come about in the last however many years, and may unfortunately continue on, because a lot of people, not everybody obviously, but a lot of people look at the line drawn between the two, either Republican or Democrat, as opposed to looking at what the policies are that the individuals stand for, not even necessarily each side. Now, obviously, each side and the independents, they generally have their own realm of things that they believe in and think, right? That doesn't generally seem to change. Like the left is definitely a little bit more open on things that are concerning to a lot of people, myself included. And the right is a little more hard on things that are concerning to people, and myself included. Like there's no, this is my personal opinion, obviously, but it's very hard to say that you agree 100% with everything on whatever side you're on. I have not met a single person who 100% agrees with every single thing that the Republican Party has done or said or wants to do. Nobody I've met agrees 100% with everything the Democratic Party has done or is doing or wants to do. And so when you stop and think and you look at November of 2024 and you think to yourself, Biden or Trump, what you should be thinking is, do we want 4 more years of what we have? Do we want 4 years of what we had before these last 4 years? Or do you want 4 years of something totally different? Like where are we? What do we want? Sorry, I have a hiccup. But at the same time, you have to stop and think about who the vice president is, because that's extremely, extremely important. And I think a lot of people are focused on the man at the helm, the guy at the front, the man sitting at the desk in the Oval Office, forgetting about the fact that if something happens to that man, because let's be 100% perfectly honest, neither one of these men are in their prime. They are both older gentlemen. One of them a little bit more mentally unstable than the other, and one more mentally stable. Y'all know exactly which way that's going. But you have to look at who the vice president is. Do you want a Kamala Harris president if something were to happen to Biden, or do you want a whoever Trump is going to pick as his vice president as president if something were to happen to him? And I think there's a Byron, I can't think of the guy's name that he just talked to recently. It was like, I could see you as a VP, black gentleman, which I thought was interesting because so many people throw out the word racist and Trump at the same time. And here he is shaking hands with a black man and saying, hey, you could make a great vice president. And it's just interesting to me. People thought, was his name Tim Scott from South Carolina could be a VP. You have Vivek Ramaswamy. He could technically want to make him a VP. And what's interesting is, one, they're all men, but neither of them are white. I don't think he's going to pull DeSantis in as a possibility as a VP. It just, too much headbutting, I would think there. But either way, I feel like my daughter, she is almost 15, and we talk openly about everything because I put up a community post earlier today, which was along the lines of, think about the things you never learned and then teach those things to your children early, or something along those lines. I can't remember how it was phrased, but there were things that weren't talked about when I was younger. I didn't talk politics. I didn't talk religion. I didn't talk any of that kind of stuff when I was younger with my family. And so now that I am more open and understanding of a lot of stuff that is going on in our world in politics and religion, my daughter and my husband and I, we have open conversations all the time. We also have open conversations because of the fact that he is a black man, I am a white woman, and she is the product of a biracial marriage. So she is a mixed child. She's gonna be looked at differently than a white child would or a black child would, because she is the product of two, right? So for her, it's like, what would people automatically label her as, Democrat or Republican? Because she's not black and she's not white. She is a mixture of the two. And I think, again, that's extremely important to remember, that just because your skin is one color doesn't mean your political party aligns with it. Same thing with your religion. Your religion doesn't align with whatever your political party is. Your religion doesn't align with whatever your skin tone is. Yes, there are the I want to say standards or the norms, which is still the wrong wording, but generally speaking, there are certain people who are a certain religion or a certain political party or a certain whatever, but it's not always the case. And again, if it was the case, if 81% of black men were Democrat and 96% of black women were Democrats, Joe Biden would not need to spend $50 million trying to earn a black vote. So there's a lot of things that go on in the media. Y'all know mainstream media and how they like to cherry pick the way they phrase things, cherry pick the averages, no, not the word, 96, the percentages. I can't think of the word, not braining. It happens way too often. they twist words, they twist things around, and you never know exactly what is real. It's very hard to trust the things that you're being shown, the things that you're being told, the things that you're reading, because anybody can tweak anything. They can AI this, they can Photoshop that, they can edit this, and it's very difficult to really have your own thoughts and opinions on things when we're being force-fed so much wrong stuff by left or right. Left pushing negative, misinformation to the right, right pushing misinformation to the left. Everything is all over the place because it's all about, I want to say, unfortunately, it's about scaring people into doing whatever side wants or whatever political party wants. And I think that there are so many people who are kind of getting fed up with it, unfortunately, that now it's okay, you're not voting for a certain party anymore. Maybe you're voting for the person, but again, that person isn't going to be an option in 2028. Or you are voting specifically for a party and you don't care who's at the helm of that party. And that's extremely dangerous, in my opinion. Politics is like the hardest thing in the world to have a conversation about. It's also one of the hardest things in the world to understand, because the problem is you have all of these politicians, not just, presidential candidates or presidents themselves, but governors, mayors, city officials, even, school boards and whatever else, who will say the things that need to be said in order to win your trust, to make you like them, in order to get your vote. And then they will flip-flop and turn around, do a 180 and do everything they said they would never do, or not do the things they said they would do. And it's like, what are we doing here? And that is the problem, because a lot of times we are, as a people, we are more focused on what it was like used car salesmen. That's how, and people are going to not like me for this, but that's how I look at Vivek Ramaswamy. He reminds me of a used car salesman, the way he talks and his delivery and everything else. He's very good at just sugarcoating everything and whatever. He seems like a great guy or good candidate. Who knows? But I didn't like his vibe personally for me. And again, that's not really important, but I didn't love his vibe. People didn't like Nikki Haley. People didn't like Tim Scott. People don't like Trump. People don't like Biden. People don't like DeSantis. There's many reasons to dislike numerous people, obviously. But at the end of the day, you have to step back and think about whether you like somebody as a human. Are they the best option for the country? Because a lot of people did not like Trump as a human, but his policies and things like that, maybe people really liked. And a lot of people may dislike Joe Biden as a human, but maybe they liked what he said he was going to do for people, and that's why they voted for him. According to Joe Biden, who's been in politics for over 40 years, he's done a lot for the black community. Unfortunately, he's done a lot of really bad things for the black community. Donald Trump, in office for 4 years, technically did a lot better things for the black community than Biden did in all of 40 years. If you literally start to go back and pick apart what the career politician has done, it has not been a good thing, versus the career businessman who played politician for 4 years. Whether you liked the man or not, a lot of good things did come out of that, him being in the presidency, right? And who knows what could happen in 2024 to 2028, depending on who's at the helm. It's just, the closer you get to November, the more you see people tearing each other down because they are Democrat or Republican. The more you see people with, hate because of who somebody else may be voting for. I remember on Facebook at the time of the first, Trump Biden, it was a bloodbath, like on a daily basis across social media, and friendships were ruined and family members quit talking to family members because depending on who you were voting for or not voting for. And it wasn't because you didn't like the policies, because it was about the person. They didn't like you were voting for that person, no matter what their policies were, no matter what they said they were going to do for the country, no matter what they've proven they could do or have done for the country. People were up in arms over the person themselves. And so for me, I'm hoping that in 2024, and this may rub people the wrong way. Again, honestly, I don't care. I'd rather have the conversation than not. I hope people are stepping back and looking at where the country is, where the country has been, and where they want the country to go, and vote based off of what policies will be best to get us where we need to be. Not the face of whoever, but the policies themselves. What are they saying to us? What are they telling us? What have they proven to us previously? Because they've both been at the helm. You know, they each had a 4-year term. Who did what they said they would do? Who went above and beyond? Who made the most significant changes in a positive way? And, you know, look at those things before you hit the polls in November to cast your vote. It's very difficult for a lot of people to change their minds on things also. There's probably plenty of Democrats out there who are going, man, this country has gone into the crapper the last 4 years, but I'm a Democrat. I can't vote for Trump. I'm a Democrat, so I just won't vote at all. Okay? Or vice versa. You're a Republican and you go, well, I have a lot of family members who are of the LGBTQ community or who are whatever. And so voting Republican feels wrong now because it feels like I'm being mean to them. So I just won't vote or whatever. It's difficult for people to change what they have done throughout their lifetime, what they've done throughout their voting history, what their friends and family are doing, because it makes you feel like you are, what's the right word? Like you are, I can't think of the word. Y'all, you help me out here. You know how this works. You've been here before. You know what happens. When I can't think of it, y'all come in and save the day in the comment section with the correct word. My brain wants to say like treacherous, but I feel like that's like too much. Like, I don't know. But either way, the political parties right now it's all being divided by race and politics. And we talked about this a couple days ago with Candace Owens and her whole thing. But it does feel like that. If you're a Democrat, if you're black, you're a Democrat. If you're white, you're a Republican. That is how it feels. But even you can jump on YouTube and see how many black Republicans there really are. So this 81% male, 96% female as Democrats, I don't personally buy it. You know, you can make any number up. I mean, if you only talked to 10 people that were at a Democratic rally and you go, are you Democrat or Republican? And they all say Democrat. Well, then you have 100% black people are Democrats. Like, it depends on how they're doing these surveys to get these numbers. They're not going to tell you where these numbers came from. They're not going to tell you how they got these percentages. All they're going to do is give you these percentages, and you're going to just, not you, but like the royal you, right? The royal we are just going to take it at face value because you don't expect everybody to just lie to you all the time. And unfortunately, that's kind of what our government does from the top all the way down. Our mainstream media, all these things, all they do is finagle things to make it look and sound and seem the way they want it to for their own beneficial whatever. And I think these are things we all have got to keep in mind over the coming months, because it's going to get real sticky, real, dicey in the next couple months with this massive push for a political racial divide. And that's what it is. And it sucks that every few years it seems like we're back at a political racial divide every single time. I'd like it to stop. I would personally like it to stop. But just think about that as November rolls around and you're going out to vote. Think about the policies, not the person, because those people will not be here in the next 4 years. You're not going to have the same people on the ballot. You got to think about who the vice president is for November also, because that could be your next official president. There's all these things to think about, not just Trump and Biden. It's more than just Trump and Biden, Biden and Trump. It is more than just those two men. It's everything else that goes along with them and outside of them and what happens after them. Because it's not going to be the same conversation in 2028. It's not going to be Trump and Biden. And same thing in 2032. It's not going to be Trump Biden. It's going to be two totally different people. So we've got to focus on the policies, not the people. That's my thought. This may have gone a little, it happens. But I thank you and I love you for letting me have this conversation, because I like to be an adult sometimes and try to keep the emotion out of it, which I feel like I did a very good job today. And just have these conversations about things that really, truly do matter. So that's that. And as always, I'd love your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. And if you know the name of the lady on The View, I think it's Sunny, wasn't it Sunny Houston, whatever? I think that's her name. I have no idea. But I think she pulled those numbers out of her butt. Or somebody gave them to her, and then she pulled them out of her butt. Because I don't believe her numbers on the 81% and 96%. Okay, that's it. I love y'all, SquirrelTribe. See you later. Bye.